What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, let's get back into these comments. Thank you so much to everybody who is leaving them. As I said, I am committed to catching up on them, and I know we're still a little bit behind, but let's go ahead and jump right in. This is from the 5 biggest takeaways a couple weeks ago. We were talking about skins in there and how like you could do some cool things with skins where maybe you augment one of the card stats. I think I gave the example of like a Jin O'Shaughnessy where you could maybe get +1 magic on your Jin O'Shaughnessy, but it takes away 1 health or it takes away 1 speed, right? But you get to choose of playing that skin on that Jin O'Shaughnessy, right? So Jedi Elf here is asking, would these skin upgrades detract from items and spells? Now, I'm trying to interpret this in I'm interpreting this in 2 different ways. If you're asking if it would detract from items and spells in terms of taking away from gameplay, I don't think so. Like, it adds more complexity to the game, which I think for people who actually enjoy the game for what it is, don't mind the additional complexity. So I think we can do both augmented skins as well as items and spells. Now, if you're asking, do they detract from items and spells from a timing perspective, meaning that, you know, if we focus on this, we'll get items and spells and land much later? To which I would say no again, because land is just so far away. I don't think people realize how far away land is. We are in 1.5, struggling to get 1.6 out. The team is going to knock out 1.6 sooner, at least for, you know, certain elements. Although they have said that, you know, 2.0 and all of the things that they want to do for 2.0 may not happen until they're able to hire more people after a bull run, which is not even guaranteed, but hopefully we get one, you know, over the next 18 months. So if land isn't even going to start, well, it will start, right? I have faith in Investigator and Cryptomancer, but if we're not going to get, you know, firing on all cylinders until after that, right? That's 2 years away, in my opinion. 2 years away that we get land 2.0. And I know that might be shocking for some folks, but I'm talking about 2026 here, right? May of 2026 is when I'm expecting land 2.0 at this point. And I'm not trying to be bearish. It's just, this is the time frames that they've given us with the constraints that they have, the resource constraints that they have. So going back to your question, would skin upgrades detract from items and spells? No, primarily because items and spells are being added to the game in order to help enhance the experience for the gameplay. Now, if items and spells have all of these barriers when it comes to land of getting resources and getting LPs and getting grain and getting, you know, buildings and all this stuff, if they have all of these hurdles before them, then whereas the team can just focus, and again, I'm not sure how long it would take from a development standpoint, but they can just go straight to skins now rather than having to have all those hurdles. If they can get us something that adds value into the game sooner rather than later without all those hurdles, I don't think it detracts from land. Land already has so many issues that adding something like this, which can enhance and improve the game experience overall right away, I think that adds value and it doesn't detract. But that's just my thought there. All right, so Mondroid says, I absolutely love the idea of being able to augment card stats, even going further than the skin idea. Like you said, if every card had a stat pool and I could place those stats how I want, that would be very, very cool. The amount of adjustments you could do over a deck would be amazing. I'm talking like adjusting these cards to be my back to basics specialist. Man, okay, so getting glint for losing also makes sense to me. It should be a full 100% from a win, but maybe 25% for a loss. All right, so Mondre, I have an idea for a promo card. I was going to make a video for this, but I would love to have a fully customizable promo card, and I think it should be done as almost like a Rooney 2.0 type of thing, right? Whether we launch that on Solana or maybe on ETH again, whatever the case is, there has to be something where it's a premium promo card where you get to design the stats. Now, maybe it comes with all the same abilities, or maybe there's an ability tree that you can go down, right? But you can choose, right? You know, based on how, when it's leveled up, let's say you get from level 1 to 2. Well, now all of a sudden you can improve 2 stats, right? So you could either give it like +2 melee, or you could give it an armor, and you could give it a health. Like stuff like that would be really cool. And I hope that they would be able to design that in a way where, again, it becomes something that is super customizable and fun. Like Rooney's cool, but Rooney I think should just be a stepping stone. So let me think more about that. But that's kind of an idea that I had, and it seems like you're thinking along the same lines. All right, so Phoenix says, I'll admit 300 bots is a higher number than I thought they were going to come in with, but I still want to run some really rough math to project some potential effects. Given that there are 5 leagues with roughly equal distribution of total players per league, although we don't have equal distribution, turning towards the upper leagues as season goes on with rating inflation, it adds 60 spots per league. If we assume 300 people decided to try it out with bots, that's another 60 spots per league. Is adding 120 in champ, 120 diamond, enough to move all max decks up and out of silver gold. Maybe not all, but a good chunk of them. Okay, it could actually make a big difference in Snowball where more and more decide to try Modern, given that they can actually climb a bit more before meeting max decks. It's an interesting experiment. Side effect is having a lot more people in Modern is that rewards are going to thin out with more users. But again, I mean, that would be a benefit because ideally somebody who's coming in and trying to win those rewards has to lock up 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 SPS, right? Whether they're buying it or renting it from somebody who's already locked up that SPS, again, there's a finite amount that can be used to generate rewards. But I agree with you. It's a good experiment, and so far I've had a good experience with it. Okay, Riff Summoner says rewards for losing can easily be exploited. Like why investors spend anything when you can free to play, then earn your way to the richest. Bot farms can be turned on in millions with those who don't need to invest. You know what? I don't disagree with that, especially in Wild, and I think that's what Matt is afraid of. He even said so much in a recent town hall or whatever it was, where he's like, I don't want to incentivize losing, and most people will look at that or think, hear that and like be like, oh, how would you do that? And it's just like, well, for a single individual, it doesn't matter. But at scale, right? All of a sudden, you do this with enough, accounts, they can just collect all the glint. They don't care that they lose 50,000 times or 50 times per day or whatever it is, 25 times per day, 24 times per day. There's no emotional damage there. And then they just start collecting cards and inflating the card supply. Even though it's soulbound, they inflate the card supply and can essentially dump on the... the more and more I think about this, the more I don't like it, actually. Because think about it this way, right? Let's imagine someone comes in with even just like a modest 10,000 bots, right? But what they do is they slowly start buying they use the glint from losing 24 battles a day to start buying all of the reward cards, right? So they just keep doing reward card stats, whatever, reward card chests. And then when it comes time to unlock these reward cards, imagine that they are going to pay the minimum and then just sell it right above the minimum. And they make gains. They can undercut everybody else. They can sell for the bottom because they did absolutely nothing to get it, right? I don't know. To me, it's something that should just be... It's something that should be done thoughtfully. And I do think that Matt is taking his time to really think it through. All right, Pomp says the bot war is over and the bots won. A team has added bots to Modern. That's what happens when you try to fix something that wasn't broken. I don't think that's how people are looking at it. I think that we beat a certain kind of bot, which was the bot farms, the heavy exploiters. But I don't believe the fight is over with... Not necessarily like automated play, but like the battle helper thing, which again, how do you even combat that? That's tough. All right. Sorry. Smurf says very bullish here too. I just bought more SPS at this price. Double my bag over 600K, looking to 1 million next month if it stays below 2 cents. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. So you should be at 1 million right now. Put your money where your mouth is. All right. Sorry. Smurf says, I don't understand. EOS rewards are 2x what we are getting now. We take 1x and 2x EOS. So essentially it's just doubling your glint, right? They increased it 50% per win, but then the way that it works now is like, let's say you get 100 glint per win, you also get 100 banked for the end of the season. Whereas before, let's say you got 100 glint per win, you'd actually get 200 banked for the end of season. But actually, that's not even the right way that the numbers should be, because it was like 66, and then that got increased to 50, whatever, or increased 50%. You get what I'm saying? All right, Stever, what's up, Stever? My one issue right now bugging me is I can't figure out what the new player experience they are building is, other than easier card rentals and SPS rentals. That isn't a new experience to me. Well, it is to them, and it's very important, and that's all that's on the roadmap that we know of, is the onboarding tutorial, which is nothing to do with current players, and then the one-click set rentals, which could be for current players. In fact, it's something that I've been looking forward to with my actually alt account, so I guess maybe for new players, but... All right, so Asmon says, big question. What exactly is new player experience? Oh, okay. If it's just renting automatically and looking slightly better, that is nothing. We need exact fun-giving experience. Well, I would love more game modes, but that's not on the roadmap. Jedi Elf says, thank you for your replies. That's fair, and I apologize if I came across... Nah, you don't got to apologize. We're good, Jedi Elf. It is what it is, man. It's just text-based, so... I don't take anything personally. All right, so Apollo says land is good, but I appreciate you, Jedi Elf, and I appreciate your thoughtfulness in your comments, both here and in Mav Chat whenever I catch them. All right, so Apollo says land is a good end game for the cycle. New cards come, they're expensive, then those cards get cycled out of modern, prices drop. Yeah, I think again, I think that Chaos is going to be the land set, so hopefully they can get that out in some version before the end of the bull run. All right, so Paul says, here's the pricing. They don't seem unreasonable. Reward shops. Oh, dang. Okay, well, I'm really behind on this. Looks like people have already been dealing with that. I'm okay with the pricing for what it is. I think I made a video on the day that it came out, and I got some decent legendaries. I got my Izzy R to level 3. So probably after this next season, I'll go in and grab a couple more and probably do some epic ones as well and see where things go from there. Okay, so Christopher says, you keep talking about baggage this game has been due to it being around for 5 years, yet Upland, which has also been around for 5 years, is growing exponentially in 2024. It's not the time we've been around that has saddled us with baggage. It's the dumb mistakes like Chaos Legion and the unwillingness to fix them. Instead of fixing the issues, they tell us that the huge growth is right around the corner, and that will fix everything for us. Broken record here, but burn the cards, and the game gets a chance to grow again, or don't, and they run out of money. I think you and I are on the same page. Maybe you didn't understand how I was referring to the baggage, but all I'm saying with baggage, it has nothing to do with the fact that they've been around for a long time. But the kind of tangentially related part of that is if you've been around a long time and you've pissed a lot of people off, there's going to be a lot of people that remember it. So yeah, it could be 5 years, it could be 1 year, right? But if there's baggage there, there's baggage there. So to your point, I'm not disagreeing with you. In fact, I'm agreeing with you. And if anything, you're probably just helping me to clarify my point further, that it's 5 years and it is full of mistakes. So there's a lot of mistakes that can be done in 5 years. And that is what I think we're referring to as baggage collectively. All right. So Pop says, I would get rid of 1 energy per hour. I would give out energy based on collection power or staking of cards. Create a market so you can decide if you want to use it for battle or sell it. I would get rid of the reason why people bought. You know what would be interesting? I would love to see energy given out based on how much SPS you're staking. And again, it'd have to be capped somewhere. But if you think about what Arcade Colony is doing, Mooncart specifically, and I have no idea what's going on with that game, so maybe it's not even a real game anymore. Sorry, I'm being salty. I just saw that somebody posted the roadmap earlier today about Mooncarts and how I think they wanted to get it playable by April, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about this game. I don't know what's going on with it. Okay, so saltiness aside, what they're doing there, or attempting to do, is have it be that the assets that you own determine how much energy you have, right? So it's essentially like collection power. I think the team is trying to get away from collection power. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think if you give all that utility directly to SPS, it will be better. I don't know how you design it. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm very open to exploring that idea. All right, Javier says, no, if you reduce pack prices now for future sets, you devaluate the value of Rebellion. We already did that with CL. Don't repeat history and screw Rebellion buyers. Again, this is what I'm trying to get at here. Rebellion doesn't get devalued because I'm not saying to reduce pack prices for Rebellion, and I don't think that's not what you're saying either. I'm saying that the next pack set that comes out becomes much more available. If people want to buy Rebellion, they will need to either buy it now at the same prices that everybody else has bought it, or in the future from the people that bought it at the prices that are currently, which is, again, why I'm saying that I can understand that people are, who went heavy on Rebellion are going to be like, oh, well, I could have just waited and bought this new pack set for $2. And yes, that will create some animosity. But I think that animosity is different. From a technical perspective, that animosity is different from actually devaluing Rebellion cards, right? It pisses people off. So, the end effect is kind of the same in some ways. But I think that the positives outweigh the negatives. And for most people who bought and went heavy on Rebellion and saw the benefits and probably scooped up a ton of SPS and are sitting, pretty at the top right now, I think many of them wouldn't mind. Maybe, if you are somebody who is a top tier player that went heavy on Rebellion and would feel offended by this, please let me know. But I can't imagine anybody who went heavy on Rebellion and is in like the top 100 to 200 players, whatever, and is getting 20 to 40 SPS per win right now, if they came out in the future after you've made your money back, as like Mondroid, shout out to Mondroid, like is saying, right? He's calculating his gains as he goes. If you made your money back from Rebellion and then they make the next set available to everybody, and again, this is hypothetical, but if that set comes in and brings in 10, 20,000 players, each of which is staking anywhere from 10 to 100,000 SPS, and therefore your earnings go up, not just in the future, but retroactively, right? Like you earned, people were earning like, 1,000 SPS per day. Brave Tofu was posting like 1,500 SPS per day. But retroactively, that starts to go up because new players are coming in. I can't imagine people would be upset with that, especially the people who went heavy on Rebellion. But if you are somebody that went heavy on Rebellion and you feel differently, please do let me know. Okay, Icebird says, I would prefer they just focus on making the card game the best it can be. I have 2 land plots, but I don't care about land. I believe Matt is more focused, and I'm glad the Splinterlands game isn't all over the place, trying to add new stuff that doesn't involve the card battles. I agree 100%. When I compare to other card games, it's still a solid game and unique. Also, Splinterlands team is small and should be compared to an indie type game. For an indie game, it's starting to look even more solid. The one thing I really want them to fix is the battle finder. One match, I'll fight someone hundreds of ratings below me. The next, I'll battle somebody hundreds of ratings above me. Yeah, well, part of that is just low match liquidity right now. But I agree with you. I mean, I think land is honestly a waste of time at this point. I know that's going to rub some people the wrong way, but it does nothing to bring in new players. It does nothing to add, it does something to add value to older card sets because that's the only thing adding value to older card sets. So I will say that there is that. But, in terms of priority, I just don't see how it can or should take precedent above anything outside of the card game. Okay, Team Phoenix Rising says, After Sound, whose side are you on? Based on me watching your content for Team Phoenix Rising, it's been a while. I haven't talked to you in a minute. All right. Whose side are you on? Based on me watching your content for a while, you only seem to care for yourself. Wow. Shots fired. You did not want to burn Chaos Legion packs. You are happy to see card prices fall so you can max out your own deck without caring if people lose money. You're also happy to make content out of the game without helping the team by suggesting stuff like Magic the Gathering or Gathering the Magic or Tales from the Cryptmancer does. You are also against marketing the game, doing advertising, or listing the SPS token on Binance. Do you care about the team or your fellow player or just yourself? What use is a max level deck if it is worth next to nothing? Ooh, lots of things that I disagree with. Lots of things that are actually incorrect here. And so I will take this one personally, Team Phoenix Rising. Let's go through this because I want to make sure I dispel any and all lies that you have said and dispel any other notions that people might have. Okay, so you did not want to burn Chaos Legion packs. No, I did not. So call me naive. Back in 2022, I was still hopeful that things would turn around and that the team would be able to get new players in. We were supposed to launch Soul Keep right towards the end of 2022 or early 2023. We were supposed to have GLX, GLG, right? We had all these things that were going to draw in new people, and I was holding out hope that there would be an influx of players that would eat up all those Chaos Legion packs. I did not want to do something irreversible at that time. So yes, there was a period of time that I was against burning Chaos Legion packs. When it became apparent that nobody was coming and that the team wasn't delivering and that, there was no execution happening, I was like, oh, well, okay, well, I'm not going to be against it now. So yes, I was against it for a majority of the middle of we'll say 2022. You're saying you are happy to see card prices fall so you can max out your own deck without caring if people lose money. False. It's not that I'm happy to see card prices fall, and I have not maxed out my deck. I've bought a couple of cards here and there, but I've not maxed out my deck. So just want to set the record straight on that. You were also happy to make content out of the game without helping the team by suggesting stuff like Gathering Magic or Tales from the Cryptmancer. So that's just a lot of very negative speculation by you. How do you know that I'm not helping the team? In fact, at the end of last year, I was actively volunteering my time, right, to help the team with a lot of the QA stuff that they were doing. I wasn't paid for it, even though I'm a team member and contracted with them. I was doing stuff outside the purview. I wasn't getting paid. I was just excited for what was happening with the Rebellion, and I just wanted to help them in terms of QA and all the stuff, whatever. I try to give suggestions here through this channel right? I run them by you guys first because I don't have the type of arrogance that I think my ideas are great. I put them out there for you guys to poke holes in them. And then if they're good, I do genuinely believe that the best ideas win. And guess what? I don't have the ego that the ideas need to come from me, right? If somebody takes one of these ideas, massages it a little bit, hell, you could steal this idea, go and call it your own, make a proposal and add that in. I'm totally cool with it because this is the beauty of Web3. Everything is a value add. So I don't got any ego about that. And for you to think that that I'm not in contact with members from the team or trying to give suggestions, that's an ignorant statement. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt in terms of, obviously there's no way that you could know that, but to make that accusation is a little annoying. Okay, are we done with this yet? You also are against marketing the game, doing advertising, or listing the SPS token on Binance. Again, all false. Go look at my track record. I voted for the freaking proposals to get us listed on a major exchange. What the hell are you talking about? How can you just come in here and say these things? I mean, I'm all for like negative comments and salty comments, but like, bro, these are just straight up lies. All right. I'm not against the marketing of the game. I think it would be ineffective, right? But if the team wanted to go ahead and do it, that's fine. It's within their purview. I just don't think that it would be effective right now. And I still believe that the best marketing that can happen is getting SPS to go to the freaking moon. But you know, I've never been against marketing and advertising. In fact, I felt like I was disproportionately defending Chatter, right? When Chatter was on the team, a lot of people would take shots at Chatter, and you know, whatever. That's that. Okay, so, and then your final question: do you care about the team or your fellow player or just yourself? I think that I'm going to say this straight up. I care about myself first and foremost, and I think anybody here that tells you differently is a freaking liar. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't care about the rest of the community. I'm not actively doing things to try and make your lives miserable. I don't like buy a bunch of stuff and then make a video and, you know, try to front run you guys and be like, oh, go and do this, whatever. People think I do that about vouchers, right? But I've been very clear with my vouchers. You can go check the blockchain. I sell my vouchers every day. I am trying to get vouchers to go to the moon because I want to sell them at a higher price, right? Somebody the other day criticized me here and they're just like, oh, you're trying to shit on vouchers because you want to buy them at a... No. I don't ever buy vouchers. So I care about myself first and foremost. I'm trying to make a return on this game. I think everybody else is trying to act in their own self-interest too, and I don't hold that against them. I care about the team because there's a lot of really, really smart, cool, passionate people on the team. But all in all, I mean, I don't know how you rank all of that, and I don't think that it's inappropriate for me to say that I care about myself first and foremost, because I would expect everybody else to care about themselves first and foremost. But one of the cool things about this space is that if we can align everybody's incentives so that when they go and put themselves first, it is actually a net positive for the entire ecosystem. So that is my response to you. Hopefully that satisfies all of the accusations and allegations you made in there. Oh my gosh, another one from Team Phoenix Rising. Okay, let's see this. The premise of Web3 Gaming is to play to earn. Otherwise, you can just be better off playing Magic the Gathering Arena or Hearthstone. If Splinterlands cannot give decent rewards, then you are better off with Web2 Gaming. Do not twist the facts. People get into gaming to make a return on their investment. I agree. Also, I find you very arrogant and sarcastic. Well, then that last response is not going to rub you the right way. You make fun of people who have gripes with the game, which are legitimate. Who are you anyway? All right. So, okay. There's so much here. This is now becoming my favorite video. People got into gaming. Okay, so I don't disagree with you there. I think that Web3 gaming, and I've said this before, I don't think that any project has found a, what's that called? A sustainable model for Web3 play to earn. I think Splinterlands is doing something interesting. And at this point in time, I know it's tough because a lot of people are so far in the red. But if you look at where I made that video recently about the renting to, the renting making sense. People can come in with absolutely nothing, rent cards, play at the highest levels, and earn more SPS, meaning that the rewards being given out from the game are actually decent right now. And I'm using your term here. You said give decent rewards. It's decent. You know why? Because it's positive. You can come in, play a game, and you can make money without spending anything, without having to spend an exorbitant amount, right? It's a couple of dollars per day renting, and that's probably something we should be talking about a little bit more. It's just most of the people who are here are people that have been here for a while, and they've collected their cards, and they have their decks and collections already, and they're so far down in the red. But if you can market this to newer players and say, hey, you can come in right now, or hell, I mean, go start an alt account, right? You can play the game and actually earn money from it. Now, are you going to retire? Right? Is this like, the $25 a day Axie Infinity moment? No, absolutely not. Although I do hope that we can get there at some point within this bull run. But I would say that the rewards are actually decent right now for people playing, especially at the higher levels who have made that investment. And what's crazy is that the interesting thing is, since Rebellion launched, the people who have spent the most money since Rebellion launched, right? So again, I know that takes an extra level of commitment and faith. They seem to be the ones having a blast right now. They're posting all over X. They're posting all over Discord, talking about their gains, showing their stuff off. So the people with the highest level of commitment since, we'll say, November, October of last year are also some of the happiest that I've seen in the ecosystem, right? A lot of the people that are upset would probably be in my camp, right? Like, the people that didn't spend on that and are down on whatever their investment is or whatever that is, right? So I don't know. That's where my thought is. I think that the rewards are actually decent, and my expectation, and I'll just say hope actually, is that the rewards improve. Now, if you find me very arrogant and sarcastic, you don't have to watch the videos, man. Like, I don't know what else to say. It sounds like you like Gathering the Magic and Tales from the Cryptmancer, both who are fantastic content creators. I welcome you. And this is going to be me being very arrogant and sarcastic, so I apologize to everybody else. But Team Phoenix Rising, I welcome you to never come back to this channel ever again, because there's awesome content creators out there like Gathering the Magic and Tales, and I want you to go support them. Don't listen to my content, because I don't care. Okay, let's move on to the next one. International Travel Channel, thank you so much for the DJ Khaled moment, or the DJ Khaled comment. Ooh, this one got a lot from Tails. Speaking of which, let's go to Tails. If a version of collection power can be used as a measurement for rewards on land, it can also be used as a measurement of rewards in ranked. Once implemented, rental revenue would dip initially, but SPS rewards would also increase significantly, which would also increase the card asset values. This change would create a sustainable economy for SPL by encouraging card staking through card ownership rather than card lending. The transfer of assets to individuals who are looking to increase engagement in the ecosystem versus a small amount of individuals who are looking to maximize extraction from the ecosystem inherently creates a more stable economy for both card assets. I like the idea. The thing is, card CP as CP, the way that it was being used was broken, right? But that doesn't mean CP, which is already built in, right? Which is just, it's just like, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's just a metric on a card. It can still be used for other things. And so I agree with you. If you have ways in which it could be adding value on land, I think that we should totally be going for it. Tails, guys, if you're not watching Tails' videos, he's always got a ton of fantastic ideas. I wish he was in the the writer's room, whatever you want to call it. I wish he was in those rooms because, and not even that I am. I'm just saying he's got such fantastic ideas. So shout out to Tails, always thinking through adding value to the ecosystem. So Tails, yeah, keep doing you, bro. All right. So Firebolt says at this point it's desperation and scavenging mode. Jedi Elf. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see how far are we into this. All right, we're only 28 minutes, so let me do a couple more. We've gotten past the 2 weeks, so we're looking pretty good here. Jedi Elf says, this only affects Wild, so if Modern can be good for new players, then new players are not affected. This was the collection power should be reinstated. You know what? Actually, I mean, obviously, that video is outdated, so all these comments are outdated, but I really like the other approach that Matt is considering, which is the low-level card rewards. All right, so Asman says, your reasoning that they have not phased out collection power because it's still shown in the cards and will be used for unlocking and burning is 100% irrelevant, because what was phased out is the use of collection power and determining what league or earnings. Anyway, besides that nitpicking good video, also I like this. It won't really hurt anyone legit, in rare case for super cheap rental will be fine for them. You know what? I agree with you. I stand corrected, Asmund. You are correct. The collection power, again, used as like an ability, not an ability, but just like a card stat, right? that is completely separate than what it was being used for. So you're right. That was irrelevant. The argument that I was making was that it was irrelevant. It's just in my mind, if they were trying to phase it out, and maybe what was happening at the time, excuse me, is I was trying to think through like where does CP go from here, right? Because for the first time ever, you have two core sets in a row, consecutive core sets, Chaos and Rebellion, that have the same collection power. So is the next core set going to have like 2.5 CP for common cards, right? Like, and this is what I was saying, like, they should probably just get rid of the whole thing. But if they can find areas and value in which it makes sense, that's fine. I just don't know what it looks like in the future. If they're going to drop down to like, 2.5 or just, that'll really be the halving, right? If they just keep having it as we go along. But we didn't see that between Chaos and Rebellion. So that's odd. Okay, so why are you talking about requirements of CP being reasonable for a person to enter and about rentals for CL set amounts? It's not going to be put into Modern anyway. Good point. And actually, I don't think it's going to be put into the game anyway, so we'll just move on. But fair enough, Asmon. All right, so Pomp says an alternate route would be to give energy based on CP. More CP, more energy, more games. This is something, like I said, Mooncarts is trying to do. I genuinely think if we're going to do something like that, it should be based on SPS. SPS should be given the most utility possible, and people should be clawing to get as much of it into their hands as they can. Okay, so Nicolas says, people that own cards were tricked into ownership. This may look like an attempt to trick ones that just rent to play. Should collection power be reinstated? Well, I mean, that just rent to play. Well, again, I mean, what's wrong with renting to play? Let me read your other comment here. Doing good can be achieved in two ways. Last hope, or it looks like you're responding to someone. First is team did good job in game grow. Second is exploit at the expense of other players. We all know the team is not the reason. Okay. Last up says too many cooks spoil the broth. I don't disagree with that. Secret Flash, make a promo for leveling up guild to burn DEC. Max guild will get a title. I just want more guild stuff. I know, especially for folks in our guild, and we've had several folks who are on this channel leave because, Darkest Night, love him, but he just hasn't been as active. I don't even know the last time he logged into Splinterlands. I was talking to him today. I would love for there to be more guild-related stuff because I'd love to get back into that kind of like sub-community camaraderie. So I'm all for it. If it's a promo, if it's whatever. I still wanted guild alliances or guild buildings. I'd love for there to be other types of guild clashes that you can do, or like guild-related tournaments would be fun. But yeah, lots of opportunities, just not enough time, not enough resources for the team. So Grain LPs are on the test server, and they are coming this week. Thanks, Erroneous. All right, so Christopher Charles says, there are too many high-level players in Modern and too many low-level players in Wild. If the answer in Modern is to put low-level bots to even things out and create liquidity, it seems like the answer in Wild could be to put gold-level bots to act as a buffer between... That's an interesting thought, but I still like the low-level rewards because at the end of the day, you're taking out the rewards, or you're reducing the rewards from a lot of the low-level exploiters, whereas... adding bots, I guess they would lose more, so maybe that accomplishes the same thing, but you don't have to run team resources for it. Okay, let's just do a couple more, and then we'll call it a day on this one. So Christopher Charles says, of course, we didn't sell many packs because there are too many cards that keep collapsing in value. Too many cards mean the product-backed stablecoin has no backing, since not enough people will want even more cards. Also, it's not just Gladiator cards. Almost 2 million cards have been burnt in the last 30 to 40 days. Oh, good to know. As price collapse, I'll keep saying it. We need reasons to burn cards that don't create DEC. Well, unfortunately, I don't think that they can. Well, you know what? They absolutely can do that. They could do it in a way where they just accept the cards and then burn it in like a team account and then automatically burn that DEC. So, yep, I'll agree with you there, Christopher. All right, so people are taking cards off land now. We got up to 1.522 billion DEC on land. Now we're back down to 1.499. Yeah, I saw that. Imagine that people took cards and DEC off land and DEC collapsed in price, and then they burned a bunch of those cards, causing more DEC to drop further. This is why I said for years that staking doesn't matter, because when problems arise, staking happens and a bad situation becomes a death spiral. Well, I wouldn't say that we're in a death spiral now, but land has probably been one of the most frustrating things for most folks. RK3000 or 30,000, thank you for the comment. Thank you for the comment here. Supreme Victory Network says I was buying cards today when I got back into Modern format. Man, was that only 12 days ago? It's been the longest 12 days. Okay. Let's just do this one. We'll close it out. Cold Ass says people will not pay until they get their ROI, in my opinion. They already paid for your high-level decks. Why they will pay now for winning more? It is working for you because you don't have much to return if you said about Rebellion is true. Hold on, I'm trying to understand your comment here. It is working for you because you don't have much to return if what you said about Rebellion is true. Well, I didn't buy Rebellion. So in a way, I'm still trying to recoup my costs from Chaos, right? But I would say for a lot of people, well, I guess it's only Mondra because Mondra has been very vocal and supportive of this, but or proud of it. People who have bought and are playing well with Rebellion seem to be enjoying kind of like the fruits of their labor, the fruits of their decision. So I haven't seen anybody who like went heavy in Rebellion complain about it, but I also think we're still early in the game here. We've started to see Rebellion prices slipping, and I do wonder if we go into an extended kind of choppy period, or even Splinterlands just misses the bull run entirely because the team can't execute, then would you get that saltiness from those hardcore supporters by the time the next set came out? I think there's a non-zero chance that happens. I think it's a small chance, and I say that because I say that because I have to recognize reality. But I have a lot of confidence in what the team is trying to do, and I think between now and we'll just say a year from now, or like next, summer next year, it's a long time. There's a lot that the team can do. They seem to have a lot of ideas, a lot of things cooking underneath the surface that they just tell us about whenever they're going to launch them. And so I think we can get there. But to say that it's going to happen for sure is, I think, one of the biggest mistakes that people in the Splinterlands community, myself included, have continued to make throughout the entire bear market, thinking one thing or this thing or that thing was going to turn stuff around for us. And we have not seen anything that can do that. But I hold out hope. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm coping, whatever it is. But, we weren't in a bull run for the past 2 years either, whereas Bitcoin is, a couple percentage points away from all-time high. We just had the halving, and we know that the fun generally happens after the halving. So we'll see how things look over the next 12 to 18 months. All right, guys, that is all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you again so much for taking the time to leave the comments. I appreciate you all. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.